Hey, welcome. Here we are now talking about integration in action, tips and tricks on implementation. You know, so much of what technology does for us, we very seldom get the full use of it because our organizations simply don't buy in. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to spend a little bit of time how to get buy-in. And, the important thing is, why does tech adoption fail? Well, tech doesn't fail. People fail to adopt it. And that's rarely because the technology isn't good. It's because the human side of change was never addressed. That's what we're going to try to handle today. Change is external, transitions are internal. You can install a tool overnight, but there are bigger leadership challenges. It comes from William Bridges, who wrote a fabulous book a number of years ago called Managing Transitions. The challenges are simply to help people let go of the old ways, to navigate the uncertain middle, and then to actually embrace the new reality. It's three phases: endings, neutral zone, and new beginnings. The trouble is most management leaders fail on the new beginning side. They put all their tendencies toward that. Let's get started. That's the concept. When in fact, it's just the first two stages we should be looking at. The endings, how we're going to finish off what we did before, because we can't start something new until we're done with what we did before. And the neutral zone, that area in which we are not sure. And that's where training comes into play, right? Okay, so let's try to break this down a little bit. That's the graphic that Bridges created, basically this notion that there's a big middle there, that neutral zone, that causes us some anxiety. We don't know how to get to the new beginning because we haven't given up the ending, the losing, the letting go. Therefore, we can't really get to the neutral zone, understanding what we need to do next and why that's good. So let's try to figure out how do we do that. Pilot projects are trust builders. That's what works. A well-run pilot is like having a living lab. It surfaces hidden resistance. Now, this little group here is working. They're a pilot team, right? And what they're really doing is they are creating stories, whether they know it or not. We all do that. Stories of success, problem solving, actual value delivered. And when there's a pilot team at work in an organization, you ought to let everybody know who it is and what they're doing, and have them drop by the desk, drop by the workstations, and find out what is going on. It's the informal way we transfer the information. And that's where the stories come out. So when people see peers succeed, they don't need to be sold. They buy in. Pilots help shift perception from mandated change, you will do this, to this actually works. It's good for you. I'm happy to do it. So the next step we have to look at is communication, and the kind of communication that builds commitments. Town halls, for example, one-on-ones, team huddles, and then finally this whole idea of internal social posts where we actually generate some real challenges, really confront the stuff logically, honestly, and straightforward so that people can actually give themselves a chance to buy in. People don't commit because they understand what's changing. They commit because they understand why it matters to the organizations, or to the organization and to them personally. That's really what it comes down to. So when we really talk about the big culprit, it's culture. Culture is the code, as we say. Culture is the invisible regulator. That poor lady in the middle is jammed in by these invisible fences. The invisible fences are those unspoken things that we say, this is the way we do things around here. That's culture for you. And if it's not accepted by the group, no matter how much mandate, it's not going to happen, not going to be bought in. Successful tech adoption aligns tools with values. And leaders who succeed understand that adoption, not just a task, it's a transformation of your people. That's what we try to get to. Practical leadership moves you can take to make these things happen. 5 ways to move the organization to action and cause them to move to action. Start with the why. Simon Sinek talked about this. Connect tech to strategic goals and personal impact. Sponsor a pilot, like we said. Use small wins to build belief and momentum. Narrate the journey. Share the stories, struggles, and lessons as they happen. Let the pilot team tell these stories. Let others ask and contribute to them. 4, celebrate endings. Honor the past before ushering in the new. And then 5, invest in cultural alignment, making sure that values and behaviors support the shift. So we get to this idea of leading the adoption journey. Now, that's that poor fellow maybe knows, maybe doesn't know what's actually going on. But whoever that is, man, woman, bird, whatever, tech adoption isn't about the tool. It's about trust, transitions, and thoughtful leadership. That's what it really comes down to, right? And that's what we try to get to in this little video. Hopefully we've explained some of those things. Let's recap. It's about adoption. Technology doesn't fail. People fail to adopt it. A well-run pilot is like having a living lab. It surfaces the hidden resistance. Megaphones no longer work. That kind of communication is passé. People buy in, not from the barking, but from the listening and believing. Culture is the invisible regulator. It's the way things are done around here, the way we do things. And if it doesn't pass that, then we really have to reconstruct the culture a bit. We have to get people to understand, confront their resistance, understand what it's about, articulate it, make it known. Culture is quiet. It's hidden. It's not out front. Next, concentrate on making the leadership actions that move people. We talked about some of those. And then finally, tech adoption isn't about the tool. It's about trust, transitions, and thoughtful leadership. Next up, measuring what matters, KPIs, dashboards, and ROI. Pleasure being with you. See you next time up. Thanks. Bye.